Words make an important component of any language. Therefore, their teaching is very important, especially when we are dealing with a second language, and English being one of the most popular second languages or foreign languages in the world, makes it necessary that its learners across the world learn its diction, its various forms, and how those forms could be understood and learned by its learners. In this regard, there is a branch of contemporary linguistics which deals with the formation of words and their various forms, and we call it morphology. Therefore, in the beginning, I'll introduce you to the morphology, as it seems essential for the teachers of English language that they have a basic knowledge of the words and their formation in the language they are supposed to teach. The word morphology comes from originally from Greek, though it traveled to Latin and then it reached to English language. But its Greek predecessor meant shape or form, and morphology overall meant the study of forms or shapes. And we could derive the same meanings in linguistics, that in linguistics it probably means the study of the shapes or forms of words. Originally, this term was used in biology, but since the middle of 19th century, it has been frequently used in linguistics, and now it's an important part of contemporary linguistics. It deals with investigating the basic forms of words and their making. In other words, some people call it is the study of the internal structure of words. The internal structure of words may be understood in two different senses. First, the words have an internal phonological structure because they are made of various sounds. In this regard, we could see that the word nuts is actually made of 4 different sounds. On the other hand, the variation in the shapes of words, it correlates systematically with the change in meanings as well. So they share semantic properties as well based on their morphological properties. For example, if we add the plural marker s with the words like nuts, necks, backs, they share not only phonological segment of this plural marker by the end of the words, but also all these words convey a multiplicity of entities, which means plural forms. So such sharing also have a bearing on the meanings. Words like sentences or clauses also have predictable internal structures. For example, we have quite known plural markers which come at most of the time at the end of the word in English. Similarly, derivational affixes could happen at the beginning or at the end of a word. This is a rule in English language. It would depend on the making of the word. And we could safely say that morphology in English not only involves inflection but also derivation. It not only adds to the grammatical form, already existing form, but it can add in a way that it changes the grammatical category of the word. We could see in the example singing, this is an inflection of ing in the word sing, and it makes it changes it into a different tense, but the overall grammatical category remains the same. Whereas if we add the word er with the already existing word sing, it becomes singer, and the grammatical category of the word changes into noun. And there are certain rules to deal with these inflections and derivations in English language. It's not without any rules. or there are no whimsical choices in this regard. Native speakers usually have an intuitive knowledge of the word formation in their language. That is why whenever they hear a different or new word in their own language, they are quite at ease to understand it, as compared to those people who have learned that language as a second or foreign language. Morphology or morphological understanding is not equally applied in all languages. Some languages may apply more understanding or more application of morphological structures in the making of words and therefore conveying various meanings. If we look at various examples, we see that English expresses plural nouns by means of morphology. For example, we see the word nuts is transformed into nuts when it is pluralized. But another language, Yoruba, uses a separate word to express the same function. So in case of English and Yoruba, English is the language which uses more morphological insights while conveying various meanings. However, there are certain languages which use more morphology than English language. For example, in Sumerian language, we see the speakers of this language use morphology to distinguish between the sentences like he went, I went, or between he went to him. Whereas English the speakers of English have to use separate words in order to distinguish between these statements.